Hello, friends. It's Chapo. My faith wavered in the normal whites thesis, but there was one man whose faith never wavered and was correct the entire time. If someone could just create a compilation of all of Felix's observations about this upcoming election, so I will shut up now. As
Revenge of the normal whites.
Yes, as a lack of faith haver, and turn it over to Felix Biederman to take his giant victory lap. Carl Diggler rides again.
Praise the sun. I did not give a shit about a single candidate. I did not care about any of them. They could all die for all I care. What I did care about was I right. Here were my let's trace it back to March. I said, yes, Brandon has a bad approval rating. But a lot of that bad approval rating is in under 30s who are not going to significantly flip R. Did they? No. They said there was going to be a red wave with kitchen table issues. You went all around the country screaming at people about bottom surgery. You said that Brandon's candidates were too weird and were off-putting. You went door-to-door canvassing and said, your kid is shitting in a litter box. Do you know what a furry is? Your kid is doing Hitler sissy hypnosis. Your kid is wearing thigh-high boots. Do you know what that is? Okay, so obviously there's a lot to go in. The singular bet, the singular thing that me and Matt talked about, Warlock or Walker. Last I saw, Warlock did have more votes, but it is going into a midterm, so we both have to drink the dark web gay potion at 3 a.m.
I'm afraid so, yes.
Yeah, you know.
Well, I mean, Warlock is going to win this runoff. I mean, do you all agree on that?
Yes.
I don't know. I still am not convinced. It's just so close. Look at that. It's 50-50. Everyone knows that Herschel Walker's brain doesn't work. It's all a question of who remembers there's an election in a month. I don't know if we don't know how these results are going to influence that and what's going to happen between now and then. I don't know.
Education differential favors Democrats in the runoff. You also have the problem.
That's true. That is undeniable.
You have the problem of like, what the fuck is going to happen to the Republicans at the time? Because, okay, you have the worst inflation since before Paul Volcker. Mm-hmm. You have an incredibly unpopular incumbent Democratic president. And this is what you get. Like,
yeah.
What the fuck? How do you do that? This is a historic result for many reasons. I have some theories, but like, we have no idea what's going to happen. Is Rick Scott going to behead the Dean Browning, the Pennsylvania state legislator who said he was black and gay, who actually lost his reelection bid last night in Pennsylvania? You know, will there be a Lebanon type power sharing agreement for the 3-seat majority Republican House? We don't know. It's in total fucking disarray.
It's going to be like the triarchy of old Volantis.
Well, I mean, we're looking at what could be the smallest majority in the House of Representatives since 1921 for either party. And I guess like I going into this election, I was like I thought the Republicans would be emerge like I thought they were going to do what they were supposed to do. I didn't think a red wave was coming, but man, I did not expect them getting essentially like this is one of the best
It's
performances.
Astounding.
In a midterm election by a party who controls the presidency.
Out of power, they basically tied.
Yeah,
this is unheard of. The closest that has happened in modern history was the post 9/11 rally around the flag election of 2002. That was it. That was when you had Bush and the Republicans as the face of the war on terror. Here you have Brandon as the face of Brandinflation and the branded economy and all the other Brandon elements, branded things. And yet, with horrible economic fundamentals relative to recent elections and them being the incumbency, it's astounding how bad this went for them.
I have a little bit of a theory about party and power during midterms, the hard and fast rule that we've always known for that, right? It's always been the same thing. Okay, barring some type of weird 2002 election where there's something like a 9/11, the party in power is always going to lose at least the House in the first midterm. I think that the negative incumbent effect that we normally see we can't quite take it exactly the same way as maybe we would have pre 2016, 2014, 2010 because of the media consumption environment. Part of the reason why people will go over to the other party during the midterms, it's a decrease in enthusiasm, it's a decrease in voter mobilization, it's a bunch of things, but it's also like they're annoyed by the party in power by seeing them all the time. In the current media consumption environment where you could get sick of Republicans who aren't even in power by, March of 2022, it kind of blunts that effect. It doesn't totally change that because obviously ours picked up seats and D's lost them. But it does blunt that effect because if this exact same conditions in like, let's say 2010, ours gained what, like 70 fucking seats, 60, 50? Yeah. A lot of things went into this, but holy shit, what a fuck up.
An astonishing thing in the House is that the only seats that the Republicans flipped were in New York,
baby.
It was in Long Island.
All thanks to Andrew Cuomo and the Independent Democratic Caucus.
Andrew Cuomo single-handedly cost the Democrats control of the House of Representatives.
It's so perfect. It's the exact opposite of everything everyone has been saying until this point. It's like the only Democrats who actually suffered for the crime hysteria propaganda campaign that the Republicans ginned up there at the end were the ones who were following the neutralize all threats to the left and threats of association with defund the police or any kind of non-carceral solutions as your first principle. And they're the ones who lost.
Also the ones who were paying David Shore from the beginning.
Yes.
Oh my God. He's their Grima Wormtongue. He's the guy he's their fucking McKinsey consultant who can come in and tell them the numbers say, here's the thing you should do that you were going to do anyway. And the thing they did made them eat shit.
I just saw an interview with David Shore by that New York Magazine guy, Eric Levitz, and he was like, well, if you look at how like the Dobbs decision played out in this midterm cycle, doesn't it sort of undermine the popularism, Shoreism thesis? And Shore's response to that is, I think you really have to take into account the thermostatic view of public opinion.
You do. You absolutely do.
Okay, yeah, thermostatic. Oh, obviously, the results were thermostatic. I mean, surely. But I mean,
Your Majesty, you just have to buy a bigger dowsing rod.
But Felix, I thought your observation, along the lines of what you're just saying about the incumbent effect not really holding true for this cycle. I mean, I think the thing you said that was really sums up this midterm elections is that the Republicans really got high on their own supply and really believed that only the other side could be irritating and annoying to the American public.
Yep.
It's like the reason that the Democrats were supposed to get washed here is because for all the year leading up to the election, Democrats were underwater against a generic Republican. The problem is there are now no longer any generic Republicans. Every Republican does not stand for just some, vague idea of the opposite of the guy who's on TV all the time annoying you. It is a specific face that is just as annoying to you as the Brandon face is. Just as much of something you want to turn away from.
The libs of TikTok midterm strategy did not pan out for the Republicans. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, no, that's a great observation. I think the only generic Democrat left is Jeff Van Drew, maybe, Jeff Van Drew is the only generic Republican.
Yeah, right.
But very early on, I do want to give a shout out to the true author of this prediction, someone who could articulate it in mathematical terms in a way that I could not. And who made this case in a far more articulate way than I could have, and bolstered my initial prediction that was just based on gut instinct and contrarian impulses. City of Freaks on Twitter.
Honestly, he is the Nate Silver of this race.
He's the star of this election.
It's 10 years
cycle.
later. The cycle completes itself, and we have a new Silver to emerge. It's City of Freaks.
Yeah, he kind of confirmed this that when Republicans would take issues like inflation and crime and shit like that, all they ever broadcast was that they were happy they were happening.